Hi everyone, I am Vanshika. As you probably know by now, after all my bantering and blabbering, I am the host of this show. As you can tell, it's called Marketing Rapid Fire. I have with me four awesome panelists. You can probably see them above, and I'm super excited to host this event. A little bit about me: I am a brand storyteller and communication specialist. I basically help brands tell their story in a manner that is emotional and relatable. That's what I do day in and day out. And before we begin, quickly, just a little bit about the format of the event, because I saw from the registration form, 80% of you are new. I actually did the math. I was so excited. 80% of you have never attended a rapid fire before. So the concept is super, super simple. It is four panelists and me. I ask a question. Each of them have 1 minute to answer. And there will be a lot of laughter, a lot of fun, a lot of stumbling, a lot of fumbling, but that's the fun of this event. So we have 10, 12 questions, depending on how long we can keep this going and how fast they answer. And when they do, there's a buzzer for every minute. So at exactly 1 minute, the buzzer will ring. And if it rings and you go over, that's a sign that you should probably stop. To begin with the first half of the session, we're going to go in alphabetical order. So it'll be Aditi, then Amit, then Ayush, then Satya. And then after the half point, we'll reverse the order. So then it'll go Satya, Ayush, Amit, Aditi. So let's switch it up. Let's do this. Before we begin, can you guys please give a really, really snappy 30-second intro about yourselves?
I'll start. Hey guys, I'm Aditi. I work in growth and marketing in Paytm Money. And also handle social media these days. So, now I am in the finance space. We sell our job basically selling mutual funds. And apart from that, a lot of painting, cooking. So these are hobbies that I pursue outside of my profession.
That's awesome. Amit?
Hi guys, I'm Amit. I work with PharmEasy as marketing and growth manager. Previous to this, I was working with Paytm. I was with Paytm for 2 years. I think my passion for interacting and understanding people have helped me grow in marketing space, and I wish to continue that.
That's awesome. Ayush, really quick intro about yourself.
All right, so my name is Ayush and I am heading the growth at a GrabOnRent, which is a rental marketplace. So I'm based out of Bangalore. I've been into this ecosystem for quite some time now, like 3 years now, not that much, but I've been running this community of India's largest community of growth enthusiasts by the name Growth Folks. So you might have seen my posts here and there on LinkedIn. So happy to connect with each one of you, and yeah, good to be here.
That's awesome. Satya, quick intro.
Hi guys, I'm Satya. I work at Zomato. Been there for about year and like a month now. I worked across growth and marketing, and my current stint is more towards building core brand for dining out at Zomato.
That's
and
awesome.
I like to draw a little bit. I mean, in the lockdowns turned me into a armchair ukulele, so I suck, but like I try.
That is awesome. Okay, cool. So we're going to begin. There will be a buzzer at 1 minute. The answers will be Aditi, Amit, Ayush, and Satya. So Aditi and all of you prepare for the first question. And the question is, tell us what your day looks like. We're going to start off really easy. So tell us what your day looks like, an average marketer's day in your job.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So the first things that I do when I go to office is basically it's a scheduling wherein so the user acquisition through Paytm and Paytm Money is setting up campaigns. So the first part of the day is setting up campaigns, setting up banners, ensuring that everything is in place so that our acquisition targets are met. The second half of the day is actually parked aside for creative thinking, for actually writing content, for writing briefs, thinking.
I think Aditi got hung. Aditi got hung. Okay, now you know what the buzzer sounds like. Okay, Ayush, do you want to take it from here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Aditi, you got hung, so I'm just passing it over to Ayush to go for it. Sorry, Amit. Sorry,
Right.
not Ayush.
Perfect.
What am I even saying?
Amit, yeah.
Sorry, Amit, go for it.
Okay, so I'll talk about my lockdown, how my lockdown days look like. So I wake up around 8:30 and I start with having a quick breakfast. Then from 10, I think I get occupied in planning my day. So I still put a lot of time in studying the consumer behavior, how the new trends are due to the COVID situation, so that more time is invested in studying the behavior of the consumer. And then I spend some time discussing with the teams that what kind of steps we can take to convert our users, acquire more users, how we can improve our sales funnels. And obviously right now I'm giving more time to myself also, like I'm working out around 90 minutes to 120 minutes every day, which was not possible earlier. And I'm also reading a lot of stuff, non-fictional stuff and marketing stuff to improve my knowledge.
That is awesome, and you are right on the buzzer. So Ayush, go for it.
Got it. So my lockdown days look a bit different from the usual days that I used to have during my office hours. So basically, I get up around 11ish, and then it starts with breakfast, and after that, I get over like a scrum meeting with the team, so that to align that what needs to be done and an update around what happened yesterday. And then I have divided my day in three parts, wherein a small amount of time is given to GrabOnRent. Then I go into the whole decision making and aligning growth folks team and fixing those stuff. And then towards the end of the day, I go ahead and read a lot of stuff and watch videos related to work and all those things. So I feel that I have shifted to US shift, wherein I sleep at 5 and get up at 11. And like my efficiency starts at 3 in the afternoon and goes up to 3 in the night. So that's how my days are
Wow,
looking like.
you
So
are all over the place, my friend. Cool. Okay, are you done? Are you finished, or you want to? Okay,
yeah,
Satya,
sort
go
of
for
this
it.
thing.
Yeah, I think I was just productive for like 12 hours, which is crazy. My day typically starts around 9:30 when I try and figure out the calendar for the day, what's like high priority, low priority. There's a lot of following up involved in my job. So I end up like sending like 10 Google invites, like Google Calendar invites in the first hour or so. So I annoy everyone with that notification. And then, I mean, it's maybe an hour and a half dedicated to actually writing a little bit of content, editing, reviewing, leaving comments on all the talks, looking at designs, reviewing all of that. And maybe a little bit of thinking time, chatting up with the agency, with the designers, with copywriters, with my boss, the CMO, all of that. And then a little bit of reading. So I'm always on LinkedIn trying to read stuff about what people say, what controversies are happening, what went wrong, a lot of like interesting stuff that happens through the day.
That is awesome. All right. So now you guys got a feel for what the event is, I guess, by now. So now we're just going to quickly go one after the other, and the buzzer is going to ring at 1 minute every single time someone answers. So we're going to just keep going on with it. Okay. Next question comes from the audience. It's from Siddharth Trivedi. He asked that some companies have a separate marketing and a growth team. Where do you draw the line between marketing and growth?
Oh,
I'll go first. Yeah, acha. Okay, sorry.
yeah. So I have been a part of companies where there is a separate growth and marketing team, and currently it is together. So I mean, we work in sync as a growth and marketing team where content, performance, brand, all of them sit together. So I believe that does not matter as long as there is a very strong team that is working together, and there is as long as we're not working in silos, because I believe that brand, content, and performance or growth should be hand in hand. What the brand ideates, the content creates, and the growth team actually executes it and gets all the data and understands how the user acquisition is working, how people are reacting to our content, and give us feedback. So it's a very it's a very
Amit, go
process.
for it. Sorry. Amit, go for it.
Okay. I think to start with, I think growth is a very fancy term. Growth, for me, growth is nothing but just you keep a track of all the marketing initiatives and experiments you are doing, continuously analyzing them, and hopping onto the best experiment so that you can grow further. And I think in terms of working at PharmEasy, both the growth and marketing team are very closely stitched. We have daily meetings. All our initiatives are like very closely discussed and executed. And I think for any company to grow, I believe that the marketing and growth team should work very closely. There cannot be different silos where the teams are functioning separately. So this is my take on it.
Okay, awesome. Go for it, Ayush.
So good to see you here, Siddharth. Thanks for the question. So yeah, the company that I work with, I started off as a part of marketing team, but I initiated how to build a growth team. So the fine line I feel that is between a marketing team and growth team is the approach and the way they look at the problem. So I feel that a person who is working under a growth team or working under a growth banner designation, he has that approach wherein he has that experimental approach. He keeps on experimenting and analyzing and iterating the whole process once again. Whereas in marketing, it's more on the lines of okay, you have to achieve a particular target. You keep on doing the rigorous stuff, usual stuff. You don't get usually time to think out of the box. So that's the fine line I feel where the difference lies, wherein you get a extra step ahead and try to experiment a lot and then analyze the results. So that would be something from my end.
Awesome. Satya, go for it.
Hi, this question comes at a very interesting time because we've actually just shifted from having one growth and marketing team to splitting the marketing and the growth or the branding function. So I feel, at least in my current setup, that maybe the growth team is to be involved in, say, the more current things. Okay, how do we get X number of subscribers? How do we get people to like engage in the next month, today? The execution of campaigns happening on point? While say a branding team or a marketing team would think of long term, like getting the perception right, doing positioning better, thinking about like 2-year, 4-year product related stuff. At least that's what we're trying to experiment here at Zomato. So I've just moved from a consolidated team to branding, but I feel that they have to work together. And at the end of the day, I mean, my closest colleague is going to be my growth counterpart because I rely on his or her day-to-day analyses for whatever I'm doing or whatever collateral I make. So it's part of the same, I think. Just that the focus might be either short term or like long.
Awesome. Next question. So this comes from an audience question as well from Isha Mendirata. She asks, is creativity within marketing something that you can learn? If it is, how do you learn to be creative?
Hey, so I believe that creativity can be learned. When I did my MBA, I was full of ideas. And when I joined the team, I did have a lot of ideas, but what happens is that you get used to the day-to-day rut and you're not very creative, or you don't have ideas at that point of time. At that point of time, you should actually train yourself to be reading daily, to be following a lot of trends that other people are putting out, to understand and analyze. And that is how I think you can build up your creative mindset, because by being analytical, you understand that, okay, this works for a particular set of audience and probably could work for us, or ideate on those lines. So I believe creativity is entirely, I mean, you can learn it.
Awesome.
Over to the next.
Awesome. Amit, go for it.
So in our marketing team, I closely work with the content team and the creative team. And obviously, there is a continuous tussle between the business teams and the creative folks or the content folks, because see, every person who is writing a piece of content or creating a creative, he feels that this is the best creative or this is the best piece. But my approach always and my advice always to them is that we keep experimenting different copies, different creatives, and always take help of the data. That we can't be sure that this will be a very hit creative or a very hit copy, but there will be some trends. You will, the data will show you some kind of trend which will help you to become more creative. So I think taking help from the data continuously will make you a better creative person and learn what you call creativity.
That's awesome. Just on time. Ayush, go for it.
Vanshika, I need you to repeat the question because I dropped off in the start.
Okay,
Sorry.
so the question was, is creativity within marketing something that you can learn? And if yes, how do you learn it?
Yeah, definitely. I agree to this thing, and like we as a team, marketing team and grow team, we sit together with the graphic teams and the video editing team quite often to brainstorm over the creative campaign that we can come up. The whole idea of doing this is to make it more natural and not so we believe in not promoting our products, but we believe in promoting the experience that a person is going to have. So it's more on the lines of being natural and experience worthy. How you can learn it is, first thing, read a lot of case studies. I feel that as like since I'm working as a part of the grow team, I have been reading a lot of case studies, and the very first approach that you can do is try to copy paste what the other brand has done. It can help for you, it can be a smart thing for you, but it might not helpful for you as well. So yeah, that would be
Awesome.
a quick hack.
Awesome. Satya, your turn.
So I feel that creativity for in any field, be it marketing or like engineering or whatever, is a muscle that you have to learn how to flex. So I mean, I'm coming from my personal experience. Uh, Earlier, I mean, I if I were to like think about ideas, I'd probably like think of one or two ideas and stop, and I'd be like, okay, cool, I've done it. I've thought of like two alternatives. That's amazing. But then I realized that, you know what, like the actual like creative ideas come out when you keep thinking and when you like keep harassing the thought and you keep coming with like 10, 15, 20, 30 different like variants, alternatives. So I feel that it's a muscle. The more you flex, and in marketing, the more you read, the more you ask people, the like different experiments that you do that get you to, you know, being more creative with your ideas, your campaigns and everything. And as Amit and Ayush also said, I think everything is like based on some data or insights and observations. So you get those data or insight points together and then just like go divergent with ideas and like make as long a list as you can. And if you keep doing that, I feel, I mean, personally, it's kind of gotten me into the groove.
Okay, time. You had 1 minute to answer. Okay, cool. So now the next question also is from an audience person. Sridhar Ganesh asks, one channel and do it well, or multi-channel and try to do it well. So what are your thoughts? Let's start off with Aditi.
Hey, I think multi-channel and try doing everything. Uh, because at some point of time, one channel can you might be out of ideas, or maybe you would have tried everything. But with multi-channel, you have the option of like the combinations are multiple, wherein if you for let's say just social media, if you try out something on Facebook, if you try out something on Instagram, everywhere you have a chance to experiment and use those insights probably for another channel as well. There are, so you from one medium, you get to understand user insights, try to leverage them for other platforms. And what I have seen, usually that works. Let's say something's a campaign that's been run on WordPress or a blog that we have run, and we convert it to a video and we run it on YouTube. We create a creative and put it up on Facebook. So when we see that some idea has been accepted well, we try to leverage and make multiple repurpose it.
हो गया buzzer बज गया. Amit, go for it.
I'm not sure if I understood the question correctly, but I think the person is trying to ask whether I should master one channel or I should try all the channels, or maybe it's something I should go for a marketing generalist or a specialist. So I think again the current situation, Corona, is very eye opener for everyone. That if you are a specialist in one domain or one channel, that someday a new technology or something new might completely disrupt the market and you will go out of market or go out of job or anything. So I think it's very good, very important to start as a marketing generalist when you start the journey of a marketing professional or a growth professional, and try it for let's say 2-3 years when you are working in tandem with different department, different channels, and you can become a specialist of maybe one or more than one depending on your passion. But I think you should not limit yourself to only one channel. That is my personal approach and advice.
Ayush, go for it.
Got it. So A generic answer to this question would be it all depends on the bandwidth that the person has and the company you work for, first of all. But apart from that, what Amit mentioned, I completely agree to it. So if you are working in a growth team, there is this term called T graph, T-shaped graph or T-shaped market here. And probably that is what this all means. Like you need not be 10 on 10 in 10 different stuff, but you can be 7 on 10 in 10 different stuff. And then you have a vertical expertise in one or two. So probably that is going to help because as he also mentioned that, okay, since everything is getting diverse, of course, people are turning into full stack marketeers. So probably that is going to help the individual as well as the company because they won't get stuck at a single place. They have multiple things to try and test. And obviously once they try and test, they can see that where they need to put in a lot of effort and where they need to minimize. So probably that would be a good approach. I completely agree to Amit.
Okay, awesome. Satya, go for it.
I actually interpret this question from a standpoint of whether a company or a brand should focus on one channel or multiple. I feel that every channel has a different set of audience and a different mindset as to when people come there. So I think there are different things that one like a brand can leverage. So you can be something on YouTube, you can be something else on Instagram. You have to be consistent with your messaging, but each channel has a different promise. Some are high engagement, some you can inform more, some are more interactive.
Please mute your mics.
But I think the idea is I think the idea is to experiment and to be consistent with your voice. Whether the channel works or not can come down to experimentation or what industry you're in and what suits your brand. So I guess.
Got it. Okay, awesome. The next question comes from an audience as well. We have a lot of audience questions, which is awesome. It says, how should a marketer build trust in a post-COVID world?
So the thing is that it shouldn't start after this. It should have started from the time we realized or understood we are in this pandemic. As a company, as a brand, as an individual, a lot of communication or messaging should be going around saying, put in all the efforts that you can. Either if as a brand, ensuring that your customers are getting the best experience, they are not getting any lag because of this pandemic. As an individual, probably helping people out who are in need of jobs, who really are not able to navigate this. As a company, also the same idea could apply, either physically helping people or ensuring that the products that we have built is used to the best, or not trying to sell, but the best consumer experience can be given to those people, is how we'll probably be able to build trust, and always continuing the messaging even after this ends. Hope this ends soon.
Awesome. Amit, go for it.
Okay. So I'll try to answer this in context of e-commerce business mainly. 2 months back, I think in our industry, that is e-pharmacy and all the e-commerce industry, be it food delivery or anything else, the focus of customer was where I'm getting the best discounts, where I'm getting the best offers. But a few days back, I was reading a report from a very renowned agency. They have mentioned how the top 3 aspirations of the customer, like discount, quick delivery, has changed towards what kind of safety measures are the organization taking, what kind of the campaigns during COVID brands are running to help people who are suffering. So, and you can see there is an immediate shift in the messaging of the top delivery brands. For example, if you have noticed Zomato and Swiggy, they are highlighting more about what kind of measures they are taking to ensure safe delivery, contactless delivery. They are promoting payment, online payment. So I think post-COVID world also, and Corona is going to stay in India and in the world for next maybe 18 months or so.
Awesome.
So
Ayush,
brands
Ayush, go for it.
Okay. So I feel trust is very much proportional to retention if you talk in terms of marketing. So basically, being a part of e-commerce and surviving the whole lockdown, we didn't do any sort of delivery. So it was all about gaining trust of the customers that, okay, we still care for them and we wanted to retain them. And that's where the exchange of value comes in, wherein you talk to these people, try to enhance their experience, try to get into their nerves that, okay, what's going right, what's going wrong. So probably this would be something that comes during the COVID season for gaining the trust and having the people with us post COVID also. Post COVID scene, again, it would be more on the lines of the trust would be built, how safely we are delivering the products to them, how we are keeping in mind their safety. And probably in that term, Swiggy, Zomato, even Myntra, all they have started already. But like, let's say if I talk about rental companies, we have to be much more precise and we have to much more be elaborative, because we are the person who go inside the home and do all the installation and all those stuff. So probably we can explain them, okay, this is the hygiene thing that we are doing and this is what we will be doing at your home to maintain the hygiene. That would be something that will help us build the trust. And obviously discount factor would be a second thing, but this would be the first.
Satya, go for it.
I feel trust is, from a brand standpoint, being honest and being transparent about it. So, if delivery is something that people perceive to be unsafe, then we at Zomato and I think even Swiggy and all the other delivery companies are making sure that we lay out all the steps. We lay out what the user can do to maximize their safety, what we are doing, inform in real time. So if you're getting your food delivered, then you know that at this point now someone's temperature has been checked. At this point, this is the step that's been taken. Someone sanitized their hands. So just keeping the consumer in the loop now that it's all possible, because we're all like in tech companies and like giving real-time precise information as possible wherever that is. I think that's one way of building trust, which is being very open and upfront about whatever's happening. And the other is just being genuine in the sense that, you know, is your consumer getting the 100% experience that he or she signed up for pre-COVID? And if that's not the case, then can you tweak your product, or can you give extensions, or can you do something about it so that, say, if someone signed up for that particular product, they still get the same value after COVID.
Ho gaya, time ho gaya. Okay, next question comes from an audience question as well. This person is asking, during the first 5 years of a marketer's journey, how often should they change jobs?
I mean, totally up to you. But ideally, in my experience, 2 to 3 years would give you a very good, the first 2 to 3 years in one company would give you a very, rich experience. Of course, depending on what roles you get. But what happens is the first year, you actually learn navigating situations. Assuming that you're absolutely new and fresh to a job, you will start understanding how to ideate, how to create, and all of that. Only, let's say, after 3 years will you actually be able to understand, come up with insights, analyze. So giving an organization that much time probably would help. Having said that, I have seen my friends jump in 1 year. Some people have stayed for 4 or 5 years also. It wouldn't make a lot of difference, but what makes a difference is actually learning the role on the go, learning how the company functions, and also how it promotes itself, or how it positions itself. It is very important, because that's how you start understanding how to position your product.
Next, we
and
have
your
to
brand.
move on. Amit, your turn. Amit, go for it. You're breaking, but we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. I'll start with the very
Can't hear you. You're breaking.
I think
You're breaking.
my issue take up. My network is weak.
Try logging back in.
Yeah.
Try logging back in. I'll just jump to Ayush. Till then, you try logging back in. Ayush, go for it.
Perfect. So I guess I'm not the right person to answer this question, because having an experience of 3.5 years and I already have switched thrice. So surely I don't consider it a valid question that, okay, this is the number of amount of job you should switch. But this is something that I have learned from my founders, and I completely agree to this, is that you should move if you feel that you have maximized your learning at that particular organization. If you know everything inside out about that business and you feel that, okay, now this is something that's I'm done with and I need to move on and upskill myself, probably that would be a good time for you to switch a job, irrespective of the fact that COVID-19 hits again and you're forced to move out of your job or you are laid off or something. So I feel as long as you are learning at a place, it doesn't make sense. Like it doesn't matter how much jobs you switch or not. Resume is just a piece of paper.
Okay, awesome. Satya, go for it.
I feel that, so again, full disclosure, I also have just like a little more than 3 years of work experience, and this is my second company. So I spent 2 years in one and 1 year in my second company. I personally benefited from switching within organization, like within the company, to adjacent roles. So that's kind of helped me get a better perspective, because say when I'm doing something, like when I'm doing say digital at Zomato, and then when I switch to the brand side, it kind of gives me a more rounded experience of one setup. That's personally helped me. In terms of when to switch and how often to switch, I think that at least for startups and smaller companies, this is my personal learning, that if you give time to the organization to trust you, then you start becoming more involved in it, and you also get to grow with the organization. So if you're in a smaller setup, then maybe staying for 3, 6 or 8 months won't really give you too much. Maybe if you stay and build something substantial, that is something that maybe I will add more value. I personally was at Vira when it was in an early stage, and I ended up learning a lot, although like I was obviously like...
Time ho gaya. Okay, quickly, we're going to do this in 30 seconds, okay? So the question is your top 3 metrics that you look at every single morning. 30 seconds.
App installs, invested users, and retained users.
Awesome. Amit, top 3 metrics you look at every day.
So the total orders yesterday I received and the total revenue, we are lagging behind compared to last month, and my sales, like consumer funnels.
Consumer funnel. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Ayush, go for it.
New orders that came the previous day, the new customers that we got from the new orders, and obviously the revenue that we generated and how much deficit is left to reach the monthly target.
Awesome. Satya.
Okay, so maybe the number of people who purchased the product, so Zomato Gold here, number of people who unlock Gold, or how are they engaging with the brand, and the revenue trends, in the sense that are we like, what's the ARPU? Are we selling for too low? Are we meeting our budgets?
Awesome. Next question is 30 seconds as well. Who are the top 3 people you think of when you think of marketing or growth or whatever field you're in? Top 3 people.
So Neil Patel, I'm assuming personalities related to marketing. Neil Patel I follow, Seth Godin, and Gary Vee, and Tim Ferriss. So these are the 4 people. I'm sorry for.
You made it extremely hard for the rest of them. Aapne sare name kar diye. Go for it, Amit.
I actually look at brands more than people. Nike is there, Amol is there, and that's it.
Okay, 2. Ayush, 4.
I don't follow, basically I read what Sean Ellis has to say. Then again, Sujan Patel talks brilliantly. And then obviously, as Amit mentioned, I personally also follow a few brands like what Nike, Adidas, and then what Zomato, Swiggy, all of these people are doing in this creative field. So I guess mad over marketing is the best pace that I follow.
Oh, love it. Yeah. My favorite. Satya, go for it.
I read this person called Karthik Srinivasan's blog every day.
Oh, he's really good. He's really good.
Yeah. And a lot of times, like, we featured both at the right and the wrong side. So you get like a quick metric on whether you're doing well. Seth Godin, I like Ankur Wariko's videos also, not exactly marketing, maybe business and marketing, but Ankur Wariko. And Piyush Pandey, like all his talks and whenever there's a YouTube video.
Awesome. Awesome. So that kind of wraps up the session. It was so wonderful to have you all with us today. Thank you so much. Really sorry about the shift from Emmy to here. I mean, I'm really sorry we had to do it, but super happy to see that like nobody dropped off the entire session. If you like what you see, please post about it. Please tag all of us. The event hashtag is #marketingrf. Tag all of us. You know who all are the panelists. Ask me if you want their LinkedIns and Twitters and any other channels. We'll be happy to share, but super happy to have you guys here. Stay tuned and we'll do the next event in 2 weeks. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. It was nice
Thank-
talking to all of you. Cheers.
Bye.
See ya. See ya. Thank you.
Bye.